And this is our campsite from last night. We were shooting for, you might be able to see it just over the roof over there in the trees, the shelter right over there. But we got here after dark and we couldn't see, and we thought we had already missed the shelter. So there was this road here, this old probably logging road or something, so we just set up camp here. You can probably tell exactly where we were because it rained pretty good right there. I don't know, from probably like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., something like that, until just recently. It's now almost 11:30, probably 11:30 now, so recently just stopped raining. So we only have about 11 miles today, so we didn't feel too bad about about sleeping in this morning after almost 20 miles yesterday. So, all right, we're heading right over that way, and we'll continue on. We'll show you the shelter, and we'll do a opening later. All right, here we are at the Wild Boy Shelter. Water is right over there, just between where we were camping last night, right on the other side. Decent shelter. No, I don't think these shelters were here the last time we were here. Yeah, so we didn't know about these. So this is yeah, they're nice, and there's plenty of space in here for a number of campers, and yeah, table, chairs, and some tools, and yeah, somebody even left a pair of Ultra Lone Peaks back there. So there's some pots, and yeah, there's a fire ring you can cook over, and so yeah, decent space. We're going to move on up the trail. See you shortly. Good morning, everyone. It is day 2 on the Susquehannock Trail 2025. We're starting out at roughly mile 68.5 this morning. We're only doing 11 miles today. Should wrap this thing up in a couple more days. It's an 84-mile trail, again, northwestern Pennsylvania. It is on Far Out. However, we are not using Far Out. We have a book that we got the first time that we did this several years ago. I don't quite remember the year offhand. Check that later. And we got that, and then I think that was probably before we were really using Far Out much. But regardless, these shelters, the point is, the shelters that we're passing now are not in the book. They are built since the last time that we did this. So, which is a nice addition. The last one had water. It wasn't near water, so I guess they were maintaining that with jugs. And this one has this nice stream down here below, which is really nice. Yesterday it was probably somewhere around 80 degrees. We had a lot of ridge walking. We had a couple of, well, actually, because we did extra miles, we had more climbing. So had we stopped where we were originally planning, it would have been a pretty decent ridge day. However, I will say that it doesn't appear that there's a whole lot of maintenance going on. Some sections are nice and clear, but you can just, I mean, not that this is unmaintained here. I just don't think it gets a lot of use. It's really hard to tell. There were a number of entries in the logbooks, but I didn't look to see when they were from, versus this year versus previous years. We have a number of climbs yet today. I want to say maybe 3 or 4. Hopefully the climbs aren't much more than this. We'll see.
One thing I do like after it rains is how green,
yeah,
and fresh everything is.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it smells good. It's nice and, again, clean and fresh.
We had 2 red ants sheltering on our tent last night as well.
Yeah, they were on the outside between the tent, on the tent and under the fly. So we were watching those this morning before we started moving around. So that was fun. Anyway, I think it's going to be in the low 70s today. I think the rain is now done, at least for the week. For our remaining trip, I think we're done with rain. We might see a little bit more today, but I think it's moving out. So, all right, I think that's it for now. that's the wrap up from last night. So since we got in so late, we pretty much just tried to force down some dinner and then crashed. So, and it looks like we're climbing, so I'm gonna talk while wrap this up while I can still talk. All right, catch you shortly. You smell the fern through here, it really smells good. A little bit of water down here, flowing nicely. Yeah, a jug of water. Yeah. Sure. Fire ring, campsite. Good spot for a break. Whew. Another steep hill. Hopefully it's not too much longer. But wow, it's a test. Nice little new shelter here. It looks brand new. There's a stream down there for water. Let's see if this one has a name. Ford Hollow Shelter. Yeah.
Like cook pans and
Yeah, very nice.
great.
Yep. Yeah, nice table, benches,
Yeah,
chairs.
it's really nice.
Very nice.
Nice overhang too.
Little spot out here for campfire. All right, we have arrived at Patterson State Park. The book says that we're not supposed to camp here. That I guess there's car camping. You probably need reservations. I'm not really sure, but there's a nice space that we sat in that pavilion last year. I don't know if it was raining or not. There's a bathrooms. We're just going to hang out here on this picnic table, but there's some other camping spots and car camping going on here. So we're just going to hang out for a little bit and take a break. This is, I think, just shy of mile 77, if my math is correct. So it's a nice place to take a break for a little while. We've got maybe 3.5 left or so to our day. All right, we have made it to the Sunken Branch Shelter. And this is where we decided to call it the night. We're about 1.5 miles from where we were going to stop. But we decided that this was good because it seems like with these shelters going up in regular intervals, they may not be maintaining the campsites. I mean, so far we've been okay, but they definitely seem, some of the others that we've seen were starting to get overgrown. So we decided to not take the chance. Since we have a nice shelter here, you know, we'll have to add another 1.5 miles to tomorrow, but that's okay. We should get a good early start tomorrow. So, all right, here we are. Wrap up for day 2, maybe a little bit of day 1, on the Susquehannock Trail, 2025 version. So we'll recap a little bit. Again, this is Trail Northwestern Pennsylvania. We did it, apparently, I just looked it up, in 2020, late June, early July. And there have been some changes in the shelters that you have been seeing in the videos so far.
Well, the change is that there are shelters.
There are shelters, yes.
Because there were 2 that we know of last time.
Right, that we remember, yes.
And now there's a handful.
And now there's there seems to be regular shelters, so which is nice. However, it does seem like I said just a moment ago, some of the tent sites may not be maintained anymore because of the shelter areas. Mm-hmm. So, and that's fine. We just didn't know that ahead of time. So we are not using the Far Out app. Since we did this the last time, it has been added to Far Out. So we have a book that we're following, which is old now, 5 years old at least. And so anyway, so that's where we are. Yesterday we pushed a lot of miles. So we left home at 5:30 in the morning to make the 3.5 hour drive to get here. Mm-hmm. And then we ended up pushing almost 20 miles yesterday with full packs, and we carried a lot of water.
Yeah, we were at 2 liters all day.
Yeah,
for the
because
most
we
part.
and more because
Yeah.
we just didn't know
Yeah.
where the water was going to be or where we were going to stop. So we finished after dark, probably close to 8 between 8 and 9 o'clock, and
It was dark. It was pitch black. Dark.
Yeah. We were shooting for a shelter that we knew where it was, roughly.
Yes.
Because there are some signs that say, the one shelter said 9 miles to the next shelter. But anyway, we got there and we're like, it seems like we've already passed the shelter. Not mileage wise necessarily. We were very close mileage wise. However, where we were just didn't seem like there would be a shelter there.
Where we tented was fine, and that's why we
Yes.
tented there because
Yeah.
it was relatively flat.
Right.
But once again, we couldn't see where the trail then continued on, and it looked like it was just kept going down and down and down to a hollow, and then it gets
Right.
mucky and muddy, and so
We didn't
we
want to
weren't
be
sure.
we didn't want to be stuck.
Climbing
Basically,
again.
climbing again, or
Yes.
having to go farther to find a tent site, something
Yes.
like that. Well, lo and behold, I don't know, 200 yards.
It was about
down the trail.
It was about 7/10 of a mile.
It wasn't even that to get to the shelter.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was maybe a tenth to get to the shelter. It was just across the streams. We just couldn't see it in the dark, and we would have definitely gone over there. But anyway, long story short, that's what that was. And then so we were going to only have to do 11 and a half today to get back on track. And we again kind of got to this shelter here. We're about 1.5 miles short of what we were going to do, and thought, you know what, it's a shelter. We don't know what the tent site's going to look like up there, if it's going to be maintained or not. So we just decided to stop here. So it's a good shelter. I showed it to you just a minute ago. So we are set up here for the night. So that being said, let's talk about some other stuff. How's the ankle?
It's good.
That's one of the reasons why we're out here, is because we wanted to test the ankle before we do some other stuff that we'll be teasing here in another week or two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm wearing the brace all day, which is necessary, I feel, just because of the pack weight and things like that. But no, it doesn't hurt when I'm hiking, and it doesn't hurt now.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not 100%, but with
Sure.
the brace on, it's all good.
It's all good. Okay. So looks like we're pretty well. We wanted to come out here to get weight on the ankle, to do day after day hiking on the ankle, just to kind of test it and see, so that we can plan some other things, which we already have planned.
Going
So
back now.
yeah. So at any rate, that's one of the reasons we decided to come out here and do this. We have some friends that we're going to meet up with tomorrow. And so that's another reason. We knew that they were coming out here, so we decided we wanted to just see them
Good
briefly.
opportunity. Yep.
Yeah. Some AT friends. So that'll be nice. But let's go talk about some other stuff. Last night, what I didn't mention this morning was we heard coyote right after we arrived
Right
at
after
camp.
we got there.
Yeah, and they weren't very far away. But that was kind of cool. And barred owl. So I expect that we'll hear those regularly out here. So how's the terrain been? Why don't you?
I mean, the terrain is typical for Pennsylvania. I think it's not as rocky, I think, as some of the places that we've been to in PA. It's just, but it's up and down and up and down. We had some nice plateau ridge walking today, which was nice.
Yeah, we had a hard climb, but then we had a nice plateau. So ridge.
Yeah, but it's constant up and down. So it's a good test for the ankle once again,
right?
With all that weight and things like that, as far as leveraging and moving it around and types of things like that. So it's been good. I mean, the trail is at times excellent, and at other times very overgrown. Some tree fall. So I think that just depends upon what part of the 84 miles that we're on.
Tree fall hasn't been too bad. There's been a few. But yeah, I mean, I would say mostly what we remember from the last time is stinging nettle. That is one of the things on this trail.
But it was 2020.
It was 2020.
So it was COVID and nobody...
Right, they weren't maintaining.
Yeah, they weren't out to do things.
It is better this time, certainly, that what we've gone through so far. It's still there. And yeah, it hurts when you come through it, but you know, I don't know, you become numb to it after a while.
You just kind of push through,
Yeah.
and every now and then you itch your legs, and then
Right.
you just kind of move on.
Just keep walking. I just remember
Yeah.
the last time just constantly stopping and hurting, and you know, this time it's
Yeah.
just like, well, almost like whatever. I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if the cooler weather has anything to do with that
It could.
either, because it was hot and humid.
Yes.
So the bugs were also an issue
Yes.
when we were out here in
The last time.
2020 as well. So it was like the trifecta of
Oh yeah.
climbing and heat and humidity and bugs and stinging nettle, and
yep.
it was. There were times it was pretty miserable.
It was it was quite miserable, and we didn't have head nets or anything, so
Yeah.
it was just the bugs were just in your ears and eyes and constantly, and your legs are getting burned by nettle, and
Yeah.
so
I'm
yeah.
just curious if that's
Yeah.
kind of keeping
Yes.
the nettle,
Yeah.
consequence down a little bit.
it could be.
It is
yeah.
cooler.
And definitely it's definitely cooler, and probably maintenance is happening at least
not as
some,
overgrown.
right? And maybe the trail's getting used a little bit more. It's hard to tell. Anyway, yeah, there are places that are very clear, very nice, and then there are some places that could use some maintenance. But anyway, that's the trail. So tomorrow, anything else about today
don't
or
think
yesterday?
so.
I don't think so either. Tomorrow we're probably going to do somewhere around 18, I'm guessing, in that range. We will get out of here on a regular time tomorrow morning. It's late the last 2 days.
Noon was like.
It was 11:30 today.
Well, you woke up and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's 9 o'clock
9 o'clock,
already?"
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but it's
And I
dark
coulda-
and it's still raining, and
Yeah.
just go back to sleep.
I could have slept longer. Yeah. So, but tomorrow we will meet up with our friends at some point. They're going to start early. We have about 5 miles to catch up to where they're starting. So we'll see. We'll catch up to them at some point. We'll try to sneak up behind them, and yeah. So that's tomorrow, and we'll end at a shelter, right?
We do.
That's the plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that we knew of.
The one that
we know of.
Right. Okay. So that's it, and we will see you tomorrow on day 3. Have a good night.
Night.